Unfortunately, it's wrapped into a really
Why does it keep doing this?
which they have done every year they've been in control. Talk about tax simplification, make it more complex. And those complexities were for people who actually needed it the least. We've lavished massive tax cuts on the most well-off in this country, done nothing, solved the Affordable Care Act, and actually put it at risk. I hear about the improvement of IRS customer service. For 8 years, they have assaulted the IRS in their war against taxes, and they've used taxpayers as the victims. The employees there haven't had the resources to be able to deal meaningfully with the ever-increasing tax code. They've had no time to listen to the American public. You've heard major tax bills after major tax bills.
That's right,
no
because all y'all speak
hearings,
for the American public when it's your own interest.
No
You really
opportunity
speak
to really
for.
try that bipartisanship.
Don't care about the
Mr.
actual
Speaker,
public
I
being
reflect
targeted by the
now on
IRS.
our friend Paul Ryan, who's leaving office. And what a sad note to end on. The federal government in November spent twice as much as it took in. After listening to Paul talk about deficits after hearing Paul talk about deficits on the Ways and Means Committee and on the Budget Committee, he leaves a legacy of exploding deficits. You talk about burdens for our children, $2.3 extra trillion of national debt. And think for a moment, if we can't balance the budget when times are as good as they are and unemployment is as low, we've had 8 years of increasing employment. I was just in the cloakroom, Donald Trump spouting off and watching as the Dow Jones plunged over 500 points.
Fucking angry at
it's
your
a
principal.
verdict on the reckless Republican leadership in tax and spending, and they're leaving Democrats with a serious problem to address. But I know under our chairman and Democratic leadership, we will at least listen to the American public, will allow Republicans will at least be allowed to know what they're voting on, and we will actually be able to start building on the foundation of things that make a difference. Rebuilding and renewing America, closing the income gap, allowing those most fortunate in our economy to be able to pay a little more, that we don't have to sacrifice services for the elderly and the poor, students,
what middle
and be
class
able to
is the most
rebuild and
fortunate?
renew this country. I'm
Ones
looking
that
forward
work 14 hours a
to
day,
that
6 days a week.
opportunity for Democrats to take control, and this sorry Congress cannot end fast enough. I urge rejection of this proposal.
Just a little less than half of their paycheck.
The gentleman from Texas is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I recognize under a Democratic
thugs
majority
like
every
you.
American